Hello, everyone. I am Nan Simonson, and I'm so glad that you're joining me for my PowerPoints. I'm going to spend the next 12 weeks offering information about the points of interest as they relate to aging powerfully, to the pillars of lifestyle medicine and our ability to go through life empowered to live a better life and to enjoy it more and to be physically fit and healthy. I wrote in 2020, this was published December of 2020, Aging Powerfully. And powerfully is an acronym, 10 letters, 10 recommendations for living life well based on proven methods from the College of Lifestyle Medicine, from the Blue Zones, from Dr. Kelly Turner's book, Radical Remission, where she created a commonality of behaviors that allowed people who had been documented as terminally ill and then recovered, how they changed their life and were able to live decades and decades longer. And all of that was documented. It's a wonderful book, Radical Remission. So in light of those possibilities, I will, for 12 weeks, offer points of interest, and I'll begin with a conversation, which I'm going to do now in the first one in this series, and I'll announce them before the class begins. But the first one is purpose, because purpose is it's our compass. It's the compass that guides us through life's path. And before we are ready to take on anything that, sorry, I'm going to turn on a light here. There. Okay, before we're ready to take on anything new or challenging or directional, it makes a difference if we know why and what we're, I'll say, living for. Living a meaningful life and making a contribution is a healthful way of living. People who are directionless have been shown to be the people who succumb much more quickly and easily to, I'll call it maladies, the chronic disease that is plaguing our society, not just in the wealthy nations like America, but also around the world. And so we're going to talk about one way that can encourage you, can show you I'll say a diagram of pointers to help you set your purpose. And so I'm going to do a screen share and bring something up that I hope will help you. Let's see. Let's move this up, PowerPoint. Okay. Well, that didn't work. Just a moment. Here we go. Well, I can see that I'll have to have this ready for you next time. Let's see. Play from start, because I thought I had and I hadn't. All right. This simple diagram is one way that you can perhaps wrap your mind around where you want to go and why in a logical way. It's a simple and relatively short method to help you focus. We'll begin with the top circle, what it is that you love. Take the time, and if you have a piece of paper, you can write down 3 quick, simple answers to each of these, I'll say, questions as they're posed. What is it that you love? What is it that you love to do? What is it that you love to see, to experience? What do you love to have in your life? If you were to have to choose 3 things, what would they be? Another question, what are you good at? What are you good at? When you find yourself doing something because it's pleasing, it's pleasurable, it it allows you to express yourself and do it well. Most people don't, I'll call it doodling at something, whether it's drawing, the way doodling is usually meant, or any other activity. They do it because they're good at it. What are you good at? 3 things you're really good at. And then, what does the world need? What could we use more help with? What could we use help with? What would make a difference? And then, what can you get paid for? But let's look at the top 3 first. What do you love? What are you good at? What does the world needs? What the world needs from us in any way that we can offer it. If you look at 3 main points on any one of those, what could you offer now that would give you purpose that could be a guiding star? I've talked about this before. I've even shown this diagram before. And this was my way of explaining why I wrote Aging Powerfully. I had, 3 years of working with patients at a lifestyle medical clinic. Now I'm going on 5 years. I was seeing people who came in so ill, and those illnesses affected their personalities. They affected their, I'll say, memory, their happiness, their ability to get out in the world and participate. In other words, their lives were diminished, and through lifestyle pillars of health, they changed that by making decisions as to how they were going to live their life. The 4 main pillars are nutrition, and in lifestyle medicine, we encourage people toward a whole food, plant-based direction of eating. I've been whole food, plant-based, basically vegan, but whole foods. Vegan food can be garbage. Just because it doesn't have animals doesn't mean it's healthy. So a whole food, plant-based diet, my husband and I are going on 5 years now, and at 72, I can see it's made a huge difference. Movement, we have to move every day. People who are not moving are not telling their brain that they're alive. They're not telling their bones to continue to create stem cells. They're not telling their muscles to remain strong, and sarcopenia comes in. It's just part of, I'll call it the diminishment of things as we get older. And so we must move. And I talk as we go through this series more specifically about each of those. And then what we call resilience, which is stress management and sleep, are essential as good food, because we can't take in the good food, the nourishment, if our body is too stressed or underslept to be able to be functioning properly, our digestion won't work. So in other words, I saw all of that, it inspired me, and I decided I was going to write a book about what I knew, and I was coming from some pretty hard things, and I put that in the book. That's the personal story in the first third of the book. And then I outline pillars of health, 10 of them, including the pillars of health through the lifestyle medicine model. And I outline them with some recommendations. In the book, I conclude with my goal and my purpose, which is to pass this message for the rest of my life. At 70, when I wrote that, I said, I'm focused on 1, 2, or 3 decades more of life. And again, knock on wood, God willing, that can be possible through making the right choices. So I'll say the same thing to you. Before we talk about those things that make a difference, like good diet and movement and community and resilience and stress management, you've got to have a reason to even want to. If a person doesn't have that reason, they won't take the time, they won't use their energy to do that. And then we'll start bringing this together. What can you get paid at? or for, if that's a direction that you want. Some of us are retired and the payment isn't important, but giving back would be. What can you get paid for, or what can you contribute that the world needs, that you love to do, that you're good at? What you're then looking at is a mission, a passion, a profession, or a vocation. And what you're looking at in the middle of that is heart. You're feeding your heart, you're feeding your soul by examining what you have to contribute to the world and how you're going to do it.
Hi. I just wanted to jump back on again and give you a proper goodbye. We had a group of people because that was a live recording. And after the recording, we spent another 35, 40 minutes in conversation. We were discussing points that had been discussed and some other things. And if you'd like to be part of all of that, remember, we'll be getting together every Tuesday at 1:30 Pacific time live. And you're welcome to join us. We'd love to have you. Otherwise, you'll be able to pick up the training part, the subject for that day or for that week on YouTube and most likely Facebook. I also want to apologize because I was sharing with the group a well, not really a PowerPoint, one slide from a PowerPoint that was part of a screen share, thinking that you saw it and you didn't. So I'll ask my art director to find a way to get that up on the description so that you can at least see what we were looking at, even though I realized that by explaining the main points of that chart, you were able to follow it. But I think it would be helpful if you saw the chart in case you want to use it. And I think that's that. So I hope you're having a great day. I know I am. I hope to see you again, and thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.